Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.
Hello and welcome to Business Focus, a magazine that aims to unlock the business potential of entrepreneurs across the region. We support speedy growth and development in entrepreneurship by seeking practical solutions to problems affecting your businesses and discovering and exploring unique business modules beyond East Africa. On this week's show, we get to discover business opportunities in the tourism industry in Kenya and Burundi. We feature a Kenyan entrepreneur who has ventured in ecotourism in the Masai Mara. Do continue to send in your feedback on the show using our SMS number 8041 or our email address bf@standardmedia.co.ke. I'm your host, Joy Doreen Bira. Today we'd like to pay special attention to the tourism industry. We all know tourism in Kenya generates about 10% of the country's gross domestic product. And in this regard, we must not forget that the past few years have seen not very good times for the tourism industry in Kenya. But this is set to change, especially after peaceful elections in the month of March. And joining us to discuss tourism is the Managing Director for Kenya Tourism Board, Mr. Murithi Ndegwa. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, and would like to know, over the past few years we've seen some turbulent times for Kenya, but let's just talk about tourism in Kenya for the past few years.
The actual election in March this year, there was a dip between January and March this year. So the fact that we had a very successful and peaceful general election in March 2013, this gives us a benefit in the sense that internationally, especially because of what had happened in 2007 and 2008, people now view us with that positive aspect, with that positive outlook. And as a result of that, we have now a platform within which to grow our tourism. And that would therefore mean that our brand equity has been raised. Then if you look at the tourism product per se, we have diversity in terms of the tourism product. We are a multi-product destination, from the beach and wildlife safari I've talked about, from birding to ecotourism to sports tourism, culture, heritage, MICE, which is meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, to a whole range of other diverse products. And like some of the other destinations in the world, it can only talk about maybe one or two products.
How is Kenya supporting ecotourism in the country currently?
Ecotourism in this country, first and foremost, we need to understand what it's all about. It's all about responsible tourism in areas or in a natural setup where you're also looking at conserving the environment, ensuring that there's sustainability, and also ensuring that both the visitor and the communities of those areas benefit from the tourism-related activities. In Kenya, we are fortunate to have a society which is under the umbrella of Kenya Tourism Federation called the Ecotourism Society of Kenya. Now, this is a society or is an organization under the Kenya Tourism Federation that deals with responsible tourism from an eco perspective. That means ecotourism. We would also talk about the lodges and the tented camps that are within those community-based tourism ventures or within those game reserves that are doing things in a responsible manner for purposes of sustainability of tourism. You'd also talk about perhaps even the tour vehicles that are doing or engaging business in a way that they are conscious of the fact that tourism is not just for today. There's also got to be posterity. And you'd also talk about hoteliers also that are doing things in a responsible manner. So it's actually the whole chain, the whole value chain, where you're doing things in a way that it is responsible, you are maintaining sustainability for past purposes of posterity and for future.
What is KTB doing to exploit tourism in the regional market?
As Kenya Tourism Board, we have gone ahead to work very closely with the private sector. This is the tour operators, the hoteliers, the travel agencies, and all who are involved in selling Kenya as a destination so that we can tap in more people from the neighboring markets. We've done that by sending roadshows, for example, to Uganda, to Tanzania, to Ethiopia, to Rwanda, and so on and so forth. We also do a lot in terms of above-the-line advertising and also below-the-line advertising, where we partner with strategic institutions, for example, like the media. We also do work very closely with a national carrier. And recently, we actually signed a partnership agreement based on marketing, where for 1 year, Kenya Airways and KTB are going to work very closely together to leverage on the strengths of each and every of the institutions.
How is Kenya maximizing on the shared wildlife across the region?
We have moved away from that aspect of just spotting the animals to the experience. And this is where I talked about the warmth and hospitality of the Kenyan people. When you take a tourist to a place like Masai Mara, and you say to them, this is a lion, and then you give more details about the lion in terms of its habitat, in terms of all aspects that to do with the animal, you see, you are giving more than what ordinarily the tourist perhaps may be looking for. And this is where that uniqueness comes in, because Kenyans world over, we've been known to be warm and hospitable. And all this presents a unique selling proposition to the tourist who's going to come to us. Remember also, when you talk about safari or wildlife safari, Kenya is reputed to be the home of wildlife safari. So we are basically positioning ourselves from that aspect of we are the home of safari.
How is the Kenya Tourism Board supporting the smaller players in the industry, that is the agencies as well, in the tourism sector?
We have a full-fledged ministry dealing with the tourism. We have the National Tourism Board, that's KTB, and we also have other auxiliary institutions that deal also with tourism, like I said, KWS, Kenya Tourism Development Corporation, or Tourism Fund, and so on and so forth. There are many of them. And then also from the private sector perspective, we also have the tour operators, the travel agencies, and so on and so forth, and the hoteliers who also deal with tourism. Now, when you go to the tour operators, they fall under an organization called Kenya Association of Tour Operators, KATO, which is affiliated to Kenya Tourism Federation. Then you also have the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers, KHC, which deals with accommodation facilities and so on and so forth. I would say that this is an area that when one thinks about investment, there are opportunities that come in.
Kenya has since adopted devolution, and we're now currently in a devolved system of governance. But with the current structure and, you know, the 47 counties that we currently have in the country, how are we maximizing tourism and also promoting tourism across the country, and not just concentrating on the key areas in the tourism sector?
Let me say that first and foremost, the whole aspect of devolution is very good, because we now have the 47 counties, and each and every of the counties, it will be expected that they will come up with their own showcase in terms of what is their attribute, what is their unique attribute as far as their county is concerned from a tourism perspective. Now, for us as Kenya Tourism Board, our role is to market the entire country, all the 47 counties. So we have the global marketing perspective of marketing the entire country. And then we also will be working very closely with each and every of the county to showcase what is unique about that county.
What incentives are geared towards improving the status of small, medium enterprises who are involved in the tourism sector?
One of our sister parastatals, that's formerly called the Kenya Tourism Development Corporation, their mandate is to facilitate and to support establishments in terms of providing financing and so on. And this is these are some of the things that they have been doing in terms of helping some of the establishments to be able to up their game in terms of refurbishment, and also to come up with new facilities, as it were. The government also came up with a raft of incentives geared towards promoting tourism in this country, from duty-free waivers on some certain classified tourism-related investments to implements also that are involved in tourism. And I think this has gone quite way in terms of helping the country to get more of the tourism establishments being put up in this country, from the lower level to medium level, and even to the big brands that are coming to this country, the Kempinskis, the Radisson Blues, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. It was an honor having you at KTN.
Thank you very much, too.
Well, that was the Managing Director for Kenya Tourism Board talking about tourism, the industry, and just about how much opportunity this industry has for Kenya, as well as marketing tourism of Kenya outside the country. We've also learned that the small, medium enterprises, what they need to know when they are ready to kickstart their businesses in the tourism sector. It's time for a break now, but when we return, we feature a successful Kenyan entrepreneur in Masai Mara who can only be described by one word: perseverance. Don't go away.
Kenya tourism industry is a prime revenue earner and plays an important role in the country's economic development. Kenya boasts of scenic beaches, wildlife and diverse cultures which give visitors a remarkable experience. The budding industry has continuously presented numerous business opportunities to various entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. Meet Kinyanjui Kuria, a former Gikomba Market second-hand cloth dealer whose life can be described in two words: focus and determination.
Professionally, I'm a shoe designer. I used to work with McQueen Shoes. I came up to Joyce Shoes, which was owned by Mishuki. And that's where I hung my, I will not say the boots, I hung the knife, the cutting knife for the designing. And I decided to venture elsewhere. And you'll be surprised, I ventured into Mutumba business when it was illegal to do Mutumba.
After past years of selling Mitumba clothes and later being introduced by his aunt to tourism,
I ventured into the tourism as a driver guide.
today he tells a different story, that of life transformation.
Starting for my own company, that was, I would say, just luck, because everybody would have liked to do that. It's just meeting the right people. So when I met with these people, then my co-director, then they were ready to give me business, and that's how it started.
Today he co-owns the Olumara Tented Eco Camp situated at the Masai Mara Game Reserve. Kinyanjui Kuria and his associates secured a loan which enabled them to lease land and construct the camp between 2006 and 2008 at a cost of 160,000 euros. A rope suspension bridge across the Olare Orok River offers an adventurous entrance to the high-level camp embraced by a bushy gorge and designed to blend with nature.
It's not registered as Orumara, it is registered as Oruarumara, meaning the leopard. So, but initially that was we looked for the name of the leopard because we found a lot of leopards here when we started construction. And it was until that we opened for business that we realized Oruarumara is it's a difficult name.
The camp has adopted an eco-theme, has 11 tented rooms with an Afro-theme interior which can hold a maximum of 28 guests at every given time.
Well, inside a tented camp, you feel like you are more in the outside, you are more connected to where you are. And the animals, they feel like they hear and they are doing something different from what they have at home.
This offers visitors a chance to experience adventure and touch base with nature. At the camp, visitors get to experience meals in the bush, game drives in the Masai Mara, which enables them to see wild animals in their natural environment.
The game drives are wonderful, but as you know, with lunch, dinner and breakfast, people want to do something else apart from just sitting in the car and sleep and go for game drives.
Visitors also get to visit the Maasai village where they learn about the Maasai traditional way of life. Visitors also experience a sundowner in the wilderness with a backdrop of the Maasai performance. The business has translated to job creation to members of the neighboring community.
We get to involve the community in almost all the activities that we do. We are being a property that the occupancies that we get directly benefits the community. Then as a company, we have a policy of employing local staff.
The people we have, I see them buying like motorcycles, I don't know, and also the knowledge. They have furthered their knowledge with the expertise that we've been having, especially from our very knowledgeable manager. So you find like they are getting enlightened in so many ways apart from financially.
The camp's high season is usually in July and from November during the wildebeest migration.
In a good month, we do about 600 guests, usually during the peak seasons. We are open throughout the year, and there are those months that are quite lean. We do about 40% of the occupancy in the very low season and do over 95% in the high season.
Personalized service and good management has been a key attribute to their success.
When the country is very stable, you find that the few travelers will still travel to mostly Kenya and Tanzania.
The camp makes an annual profit of about $80,000 and is working on modalities to offer more unique services to its clients so as to attract a bigger number of guests.
People need to venture out. There are a lot of other things that need to be explored, and you know, you do not just have to stay at home and say like there's nothing to do. There is a lot to do.
Kinyanjui is like that cheetah in the Mara, which knows that each morning it has to outrun the fastest gazelle or risk starving to death.
The game is part of me, and the wilderness is where I belong.
He has proved that with courage and determination, you can flourish in any industry provided that you understand and accord it with respect it deserves.
Hotel Club du Lac is a historic monument in Burundi. It was built in 1982 and formerly belonged to the government before the civil war. The building was partly destroyed during the long civil war, then eventually sold off in 1992 to a private investor.
We started the reconstruction of the hotel in 2001, and during that time there was a civil war in Burundi. Then we reopened it in 2005, step by step, up to 2008. The hotel was completely opened.
Today, the hotel is largely associated with tourist clients and hosts about 80% of the tourists who visit Bujumbura. The nature of the majority of tourists who visit Burundi are usually on work-related missions, including working for non-governmental organizations.
It was a slow starting, but then after the UN mission came, then we started getting a lot of visits, people visiting Burundi, some missions coming, so that's when business started really.
This implies that there is an influx of tourists during peak times between January and November over the years. The hotel is located on the shores of Lake Tanganyika in Bujumbura. Set within green and lush gardens, the building has been uniquely designed in a W shape, giving all rooms a view of the beach, lake and park.
There's a lot of potential tourism in Burundi, which are not exploited now. So everything could depend on the way investors are being involved really in the tourism, and then the way government is really helping the investors. But still, I can say that there is a lot of potential of tourism in Burundi.
The hotel aspires to promote social sustainability by having manpower that includes local people.
Yeah, we do have more than 200 employees, between 220 or 230.
The furniture and interior decoration items have all been made by Burundians. Today, the hotel has a manpower of 230 personnel who work very hard, showing their tenacity in the activities they undertake to satiate needs of their clients.
They are picked at the airport up to the hotel. There is a shuttle, which is included in the room, rest of the room. They have the pool, yeah, they have the gym, they have the sauna and tennis. And they can also make a tour in Burundi, yes, then visit the lake, visit the countryside.
It has various guest facilities which include large relaxation grounds, room balconies at the beach and a swimming pool. With a capacity of more than 120 guest rooms, the hotel has fully capitalized on the rising number of foreign visitors in the country and has had a 40% steady growth over the recent years.
We have a program of extension Actually, we are now on extension. We want to add more rooms according to the demand of the clients. For instance, some of our customers are looking for long stay accommodation. So, meaning why we are under construction, and then we are working on that project of apartments, which we've taken, for instance, within 2 months. Then we are planning to add some facilities, and why not including a tour in the lake, as we are located at the lake.
Today, the biggest challenge that the hotel faces is poor infrastructure around the facility. Danny Richard, the hotel manager, asserts that an improvement of the infrastructure by the Burundi government would see more clients visit the facility. Hotel Club du Lac is one of the successful facilities that have tapped into the ecotourism industry in Burundi after 12 years of civil war. There are enormous opportunities still left untapped. The institution, together with the Burundi community, have actualized the words of Henry Ford, who stated that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Every day in the Masai Mara, a gazelle knows that it must run faster than the fastest lion or it risks getting killed. On the other hand, a lion knows that it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. Now, this only implies that it doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle. When the sun rises, you better be running or chasing opportunities. Well, that's it on this week's edition of KTN Business Focus. Remember to send us your feedback on our SMS number 8041 or our email address bf@standardmedia.co.ke. Our social media platforms are also open for you to reach us. And I would like to say thank you to the team that has worked with me on this edition. That is Miringo Joffre on the camera, Joel Jamini, the driver for today, and also the producer Isaac Koyombe. Thank you guys, and the rest of the team at KTN would like to say thank you so much. My name is Joy Doreen Bira. Have a blessed night.
Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.